How many weird, like, anti-Brown sentiments are we going to hear from Steven Crowder? What's the over-under on that?
Where am I, Quebec?
What are we thinking? No, I ran it already. I ran the
Jack
ad.
Dorsey has no drip.
Because you know it's not going to be, zero. He's going to say a bunch of shit. And in America, we don't really, it's not like Canada or it's not like the UK. We don't have a lot of creative slurs for like Indian people, you know what I mean? And Asian people. So I wonder, well, I mean, he is Canadian, so he's going to have a rotisserie plate of slurs that us mere mortal Americans have probably never heard about. So let's find out. Let's learn with Steven Crowder.
Further than that, it's an ideological motive in spite of what should be a profit motive. It wouldn't be excusable if it was profit-driven, but it's not. It hurts their business, and they will do it anyway to get rid of the voices they don't like because...
Yeah, totally, dude. No, that's why all the other social media platforms are doing so well, like the ones that don't have, any sort of TOS, like Parler or Gab or Rumble or whatever the fuck. Yeah, those guys are doing so well.
Because there is a message and an agenda that is more important to Jack Dorsey than even the bottom line. So Jack Dorsey, and you guys can comment on this. Why do you think Jack Dorsey is stepping down? We don't have all of the details now.
It's just breaking right now.
This is breaking right now from CNBC. Jack Dorsey is expected to step down as CEO.
Yeah.
Now, it's not known exactly why, but keep in mind, stakeholders, they did try and force him out last year
yeah.
over incredibly slow growth. And keep in mind, he was also, I don't know.
Yeah, stakeholders wanted him to step down because of slow growth. And the only way to accelerate that growth, according to Steven Crowder, is more racism. Okay? I love that. More racism is the way you grow your platform, Jack Dorsey. Obviously, that's how I grew mine. Okay? Why don't you do that too?
I don't know if he was CEO before, but then left and then was back. And they've still been trying to force him out. This morning, I think they've stopped trading. Is that what's been going on?
Yeah, they halted trading on the stock after. This is funny. So they're like, we're kicking Jack Dorsey out. Oh, thank God. Stock jumped up 10%.
Stock jumped 11%.
Like yeah, 11%.
What? Like I better buy in.
That's not like when they're like, oh, Steve Jobs might not be around.
Wait. What? Wait, what the fuck? Do they think...
Today's my last day.
Do they think the fucking CEO exiting is ever going to look good for a company and their fucking stocks? Like, that is an insane take. The only reason why they would stop it was because it would dip no matter what. It indicates volatility.
Happy to be here.
It literally indicates volatility in a company and would most likely, again, because of uncertainty and instability, most likely cause people to sell, to panic sell. Actually, in this case, yes, you're actually wrong. I'd be very surprised. I mean, even then, it's like not that significant of a change regardless, so it doesn't matter, but it dropped at opening and then came up like 1 point.
Forever, and you just watch it go down like Ed Rooney's computer. Like, we might get rid of Jack Dorsey, and everyone's like, "Oh, happy day!" Yeah, the stock goes up.
Well, he's also.
No, I know the investors wanted him out. You are wrong. The investors wanted him out. No, I know that. But no matter what happens, when the CEO leaves, it still, again,
1.5 years, baby,
indicates instability. Like in most instances, especially like, think about it this way. New CEO came in, and now with the new CEO, you got fucking homies looking at his Twitter, like his old Twitter from 2010, and making, writing fucking negative press about him and shit like that. You know what I mean? There's always going to be unknowns there. They halt stocks for big news all the time, regardless of the effect on the stock price. Yeah, that also makes sense.
So he's the CEO of Square, the payment processing company. Their stock is tanking now because he'll be able to focus full time on them.
Oh, yes.
So,
And because
I'm just saying.
I don't know
Anything.
I'm sorry, but this is like a fucking baboon way of analyzing the stock market. Yes, you're right at a generic S&P 500, but with these new
up the
tech
good
giants,
fight
it's
against
hard
the
to
hogs.
say. No shot, dude. Look, I'm not like a fucking investor, Andy, but that's so stupid that to think that like yeah, Square stocks are going down because Jack Dorsey is gonna hyper focus on it,
Hello,
or
broadcaster.
like Twitter stocks were gonna go up a lot because Jack Dorsey's leaving Twitter. You know literally nothing about the stock market. I know enough to say that like regardless of whether or not investors wanted Jack Dorsey out, that a CEO announcing his exit or being forced out
Yeah.
creates uncertainty. So when there's uncertainty, it doesn't matter. It still causes people to panic sell, especially because we don't know who the new CEO is. It's just human behavior. They're just
Hassle.
trying to twist the headlines and read the tea leaves in the most manipulative way possible. I don't get it.
Anything he touches, he's like Charlie Brown. Oh, anything I touch turns to ruins. He hasn't done well for anything. And this is something that I've talked about in the past. People often say it's a
Portuguese
profit
newsman.
motive. Now, you can say that with right now, and it's very dangerous that our film industry is catering to China, right? Whereas the Chinese government is creating anti-American.
Are you saying there are market fundamentals? There's no real reason. What I described to you is not market fundamentals. What I described to you is literally the opposite of market fundamentals. It is the reason why the concept of like fundamentals is negligible. And that is human behavior is erratic, human behavior is irrational, and ultimately human behavior will lead to people saying, "Oh, there's instability here, fuck this, I'm out," without properly vetting the new CTO or whatever the fuck, and without looking into, "Oh yeah, I'm a wise investor, and actually Jack Dorsey was like destroying Twitter, and now it's actually going to be good, so I'm even buying more fucking stocks of Twitter." Like that's what I mean, because I don't believe in the fundamentals. How many times have I shit on
made it
fucking
past the
Tesla?
brain rot.
Why would you think I believe in market fundamentals at all? It's actually the opposite. That's precisely why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Propaganda videos.
Yeah.
And with these people right
16
now who work
months
with
of
social
grace.
media, what's really dangerous is they are catering to international interests, and they're not actually taking into account the country that allowed them to become Twitter in the first place, or
Yeah, exactly.
Facebook and Google. And so it's a real problem where these platforms aren't actually able to fulfill the
Never thought
purpose
of
they
that
were
topic.
designed to fill.
Yeah.
So it genuinely is a problem right now, and Jack Dorsey has done incredibly poorly. We don't know exactly what it is, but let me give you kind of a few of the quick hits of Jack Dorsey. Remember this? He was grilled by Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Twitter decided to, and
The wise and brilliant CEO investor Andy Steven Crowder here, getting upset that an international company is catering to international interests, which of course he's probably trying to dog whistle and say like,
1-month-old child.
you know, they're catering the Chinese interests or some shit. Okay. But like, it's so fucking stupid. Oh, wow. I can't believe these like faceless, lifeless megacorps are catering to international interests instead
Waiting
of
to sub for 11 months,
my
looking to
own
make it
personal
easy, keep it
brand
easy,
of
pal.
American interest, which happens to revolve around white supremacist attitudes not getting banned off the platform. Shut the fuck up, dude.
their stock didn't do very well when this happened. This is one of the values of seeing a publicly traded company. They banned the Hunter Biden laptop story. We know now statistically there were polls where Americans said if they knew about that story,
Yeah, and that's precise. Wait, what? Wait, that's the reason. The Hunter Biden laptop story is the reason why Twitter is going down, dude.
it would have changed their vote. Enough Americans would have changed their vote, even assuming safest, most secure election in American
course,
history.
yes.
It still would have swung the election for Donald Trump had Facebook.
Yeah, dude. We have our quants here at the Louder with Crowder podcast. Run the numbers, and if more Americans saw how fucking fat Hunter Biden's cock was, as a matter of fact, Donald Trump would have won because of sheer jealousy by the American electorate. That's right, folks. Yeah, they applied all the different kinds of analyses to figure out, that Hunter Biden's laptop story, if it got out on Twitter, it would have swayed the election. Okay, first of all, that was the worst October surprise, so much so that it was disappointing to see. Okay, it was incredibly disappointing to see. I mean, it was fun for me because I love Hunter Biden, and seeing him out and about and getting to know more about Hunter Biden, who I stan, was a wonderful experience. Okay, he's the man. Now, having said that, this idea that like the Hunter Biden laptop, which was straight up just people trying as best as they could to manipulate the information that they saw in definitely hacked materials, okay, definitely, without a shred of a doubt, I believe that, is silly as fuck. There was nothing. There was literally nothing there other than the made-up stories that right-wingers kept trying to claim were like a huge issue. Like the big guy, it means Xi Jinping. It's like, no, it doesn't. No, it literally doesn't. So much so that they tried to fucking cancel Hunter Biden because he uses the N-word in his like private text messages or something. Like, which is of course, again, fucked up, certainly. But like, if you think that that is going to sway the outcome of an election, you have lost your fucking mind, okay? Like, you think that that is going to, that was the big fucking secret for you? Is that like, Hunter Biden says the N-word with a, or was it, isn't that what he said? What was it? I don't know.
Chat full of cuties.
I feel like Hunter Biden shit made Joe seem more human because he was supportive and loving when talking about Hunter. Yeah. Oh man, Hunter Biden will be never be president now. That's what you think, motherfucker. He called his lawyer. Yeah, he said my N-word to his lawyer.
7 months. Let's get
funny.
This shit.
Anyway,
chat.
By the way, yet another great example of why you shouldn't say the N-word even in private. No, not with a hard R, with a soft A, but still. Are we supporting Hunter saying the N-word right now? No, we are not supporting that, you fucking dumbass.
Twitter, Google not decided to ban the Hunter Biden laptop story. Here's Jack Dorsey being grilled by Senator Ted Cruz.
Let me ask you, was Twitter being a publisher?
Oh, God. Oh,
when
trigger
it censored
warning!
the New York Post?
Trigger warning, Ted Cruz famously loves to shop at Brandy Melville.
No, we have very clear policies on...
Bro, what the fuck? That's my CEO, dog.
Poggers.
We're getting diminishing returns. Oh, no. Maybe Ted Cruz should have grilled him more on, why do my likes show up on 9/11 is liking a little bit of porn-a-rooney? Okay, that was not me, sir. Twitter lied about me liking porn-a-rooney on 9/11. Okay, how do we hide those likes, sir? Blade Runner vibes. I mean, dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on here, but bro, when you're fucking CEO, when your CEO has a nose ring like that, it's over. It's GG's. How maybe Steven Crowder is right. Maybe Twitter's stock is going to go through the fucking roof, okay? Now that they have a CEO with no nose ring, okay?
The conduct we enable on the platform. And if there's a violation, we take an enforcement action, and people choose to commit to those policies and to those terms of service.
He looks like he's about to have sex with the czar's wife. Yeah, he looks like he takes a little bit of arsenic every morning to make sure that, when someone tries to poison him, his body has developed enough immunity to the arsenic. He does. He looks like he has a fat cock that's in a jar somewhere, pickled. He looks like he would survive getting shot like 1,000,000 times.
Except your policies are applied in a partisan and selective manner. You claim it was hacked materials, and yet you didn't block the distribution.
Ryan Grimm had a different take than you on the Hunter Biden story. Have you heard his take? Ryan Grimm's take is correct. Okay? That it was absolutely censorship. Not allowing, picking and choosing hacked materials not to reveal or not to distribute is ridiculous censorship. I do agree with that. Okay? I just don't agree that it would be a fucking election-changing October surprise. Notice how I was only talking about the election-changing October surprise shit? That's ridiculous. Twitter actually engaging in literal censorship, on the other hand, is preposterous, and they did do that shit. Straight up. That is true. That is absolutely true. So Ryan Grimm is correct on that analysis. Even Glenn Greenwald is correct on that part of his analysis when they say it's fucked up that it's fucked up that Twitter would just like stop the distribution of this story dead in its tracks because they chose that being they chose that was a fucking hacked material. Hacked material gets released on Twitter regularly. I don't think you should stop hacked material from being distributed as long as it's not like porn or as long as it's not like incredibly private information. Okay? You absolutely should, especially if it's like WikiLeaks type shit. You should always allow hacked material like that to be released. Fucking bullshit.
Of the New York Times story that alleged to talk about President Trump's tax returns, even though a federal statute makes it a crime to distribute someone's tax returns without their consent. You didn't block any of that discussion, did you?
Whoops.
Our policy was focused on distribution of the actual hacked materials.
Oh, so a non-answer.
The definition of is.
Someone
Like, they're right. Conservatives were right about that, by the way. Straight up. They were right about that. They're completely off base because they say that like the actual fucking source material was like not hacked or anything like that. If they claim that it's like legit, some fucking blind PC service guy found Hunter Biden's laptop and like gave it to fucking Rudy Giuliani, like, no, this bullshit. Okay, fucking bullshit. However, it should be released. Like, the stories written on it should not be fucking stopped by Twitter. That is also bullshit.
give that man some more ayahuasca. He needs clarity.
He does. Yeah.
He looks like a serial killer in Alaska.
Yes. And just going on in the same vein, when Tim Pool raised the issue of free speech, Dorsey yet again. And this is pivotal. Why? Because the whole idea of it was a digital town square. That's how Twitter...
Isn't it within Twitter's rights to deny whatever content they want on their own platform? Absolutely. But it's also fucking bullshit to just decide to be like, hey, sorry, it's well within my rights. Do you not understand? Like, people are justifiably and understandably upset at Twitter for that. And I agree with that take. Like, it doesn't matter. If it was hacked information, you think it should be still allowed? I think it's hacked information. But I also believe that hacked information, especially for, public officials and whatnot, which Hunter Biden wasn't, but especially hacked information that pertains to public officials that is in the interest of the public to know about, should be revealed. Yeah. And like journalists and outlets that want to cover that information should be able to cover that information without Twitter shutting their accounts down. I think it's totally fine and normal to allow that. I think the opposite is wrong. WikiLeaks is a great example of this. I don't think Twitter should be able to censor things that are private information or things that are porn, like that you got from your hacked information. Like that stuff obviously should not be distributed. That's bullshit. You can't do that.
Year and a half, let's
but
go,
if it's
Hassel.
like, private correspondences between government officials, especially, or private correspondence between a government official and their son, or anything like that, yeah, of course you should be able to show that and cover it in the news. That's psychotic not to.
2 years, Pog.
Were you okay with Trump getting banned? Brother, why did you have to remind me? Why? Fuck, dude.
Guy on the boat here. My parents know, and we didn't even fish after.
Why did you have to do this? Why? Why did you have to bring this up?
Hope you're doing well today.
New York Fashion Week is not hot anymore. Everybody's going to Paris. We've lost to the French once again. Okay, let's keep going.
Was actually pitched.
Yeah.
Digital town square, right? Square, the idea is also designed to sort of tie into that, to check in to places physically. Originally,
Right, yeah.
Square was
sovereign
designed to be
citizens
sort of symbiotic with Twitter and like, look, I just checked in at whatever, Mario's Pizza. Oh, okay, I'll go there. Till they found out that, it just led to record amounts of rape.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Rape, murder, doxing. They're like, maybe we shouldn't do this so much. So
Tone it down.
the purpose of it was supposed to be, okay, bypass mainstream media, bypass the gatekeepers. That's why Twitter developed. Speak directly with your fans. That's the value that Twitter would bring. That's the currency. So when you look at the series
Hunter Biden shit was private material, though, wasn't it? He was a government employee. He wasn't a government employee. He was a dude with a drug problem, a rich dude and the son of a politician, but just a dude.
Uploaded
Okay.
QC TikTok Hasan.
Okay. Hunter Biden is Joe Biden's son. You should be able to let mainstream media and like other journalistic outlets to cover that story without revealing
Imagine subbing to
the
this guy
private
really
side of that conversation, without revealing the private hack materials that are improper to distribute. Okay? Like revenge porn, or I don't know, fucking Hunter Biden like smoking crack or some shit like that.
13 months
There's
sus-
stuff in there that is improper to release, improper to distribute. That's fine. But there's also stuff in there that you absolutely can cover, and that Twitter should not be allowed to fucking stop, outlets from covering that as a news story. Spider from Mars, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Podesta's Insta used to be the stuff of QAnon nightmares.
Hassle, hassle, hassle.
of answers from
Wait,
shouldn't do this so much. So
Tone it down.
Oh, that's terrible.
rape, it just led to record amounts of rape.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
what is he talking about?
Was actually pitched.
Yeah.
Digital town square, right? Square, the idea is also designed to sort of tie into that, to check in to places physically. Originally,
Right, yeah.
Square was designed to be sort of symbiotic with Twitter and like, look, I just checked in.
What a fucking idiot. That's not Square, dumbass. That's a totally separate app. And no, that's not Squarespace either. That's Foursquare. What?
Love you, chat.
Square is a
Love
payment
you,
processor, you
Hasan.
fucking dingus. Oh my god, dude. What a fucking dumb. Oh no.
In at whatever, Mario's Pizza. Oh, okay, I'll go there. Till they found out that, it just led to
And not only that, but then he's like, oh, then it happened. There was a lot of rapes because of it. Is that even true? What the fuck? I mean,
Let's go, Brandon.
Foursquare as an application is weird. Okay, don't get me wrong. I don't see utility in it. I do think that it's like weird, but I don't know if it like led to a record amount of rapes, dude. It's just geo bragging. Geo bragging. Why are you assuming there's implicating material of Joe Biden or his campaign on the laptop? Maybe there isn't. Maybe Joseph Robinette Biden isn't actually as corrupt as Trump. Wait, what? First of all, Joseph Robinette Biden is just as corrupt as Donald Trump is. He's just not as fucking stupid as Donald Trump is. He's an old school politician. Most politicians are evenly corrupt as Donald Trump is. Nepotism is still going on in the fucking White House, in the administration as well. Okay? That's a ridiculous fucking assumption to make. Just the only difference is Donald Trump is a fucking idiot and never really thought that he needed to cover his tracks or go through the proper channels when he's doing corruption and doing it in a way that is above board. And that was the main difference. Secondly, even if it's not like directly fucking I don't know, material that like implicates Joe Biden or whatever the fuck. It could still be information that is in the interest of the public to know about or even speculate on. But we never really fully got the picture because the only kind of information that came out from the Hunter Biden laptop story was largely led by psychotic right-wingers who just wanted to fucking lie and say that like Hunter Biden is a pedophile. And it came out that like those photos with him and like underage girls was actually photos with him and his fucking cousins or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? It's like it was or his nieces. It was disgusting. So that is bullshit. It's Joe Byron. Yeah, it is Joe Byron. NLRB approved second election of Bessemer, Alabama. Hell yeah. That's good news. RWDSU's full statement is here. Okay, let's get back to this, though.
Record amounts of rape.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Rape.
Hunter Biden still isn't a good guy. Yeah, I mean, he's a complex individual, okay? He does have a fat hog, though, and he wants sex workers to unionize. So... You know how conservatives always say like, oh, dude,
Smile, love you, buddy.
if you like homeless people so much, why don't you open your home to one and like house them? It's like Hunter Biden literally did that. Okay. And I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying he's a cool guy. Okay. He is my favorite fail son.
Rape, murder, doxing. They're like, maybe we shouldn't do this so much. So
Tone it down.
the purpose of it was supposed to be, okay, bypass.
Do you believe he traded favors in Ukraine and China? I believe he traded his he traded his name. Yes. I think Hunter Biden, while being a fucking major fail son, was able to dupe a bunch of foreign corporations into believing that he had any fucking sway whatsoever within the Obama administration because of his last name. That's it. And people were dumb enough to give him the fucking the moolah that he doesn't deserve.
You're the best, never
Yeah,
let anyone
if
say
you think that
different.
Hunter Biden absolutely did not, traffic his last name in getting a fucking job at like Burisma or getting like diamonds from fucking Chinese emissaries or whatever the fuck, you're psychotic. Of course he did. He's a Yale lawyer. Shut the fuck up, dude. He's literally an ape, okay? Shut the fuck up. He has failed upwards his entire life because of his last name and because who his father is. Let's be fucking real. Oh my God. And let's not forget he has a fat cock, okay? Which is very important to the story. He's a mad dog with a fat hog. I would love to interview Hunter Biden. I would die to interview Hunter Biden. It'd be so sick.
Mainstream media, bypass the gatekeepers. That's why Twitter developed. Speak directly with your fans.
Like you with your uncle? Exactly.
That's the value that Twitter would bring. That's the currency. So when you look at the series of answers from Jack Dorsey, where he's unable to articulate his point of view on the sole value, the currency that Twitter provides, that's when you see the stock take a nosedive, not to mention the inconsistency. So Tim Pool brought...
Dude, I'm sorry, but you are literally the dumbest person, okay? This is why the hyper, capitalist, pro-capitalism defenders genuinely cannot comprehend capitalism, okay? They don't understand how to do good capitalism. Holy fucking shit, brother. Jack Dorsey appearing in front of Congress is bad in and of itself, okay? That's going to cause a dip in the stock price, no matter what happens, okay? Because, again... It shows that the government is scrutinizing this fucking business. But if you think that like the decision to like purge fucking bot accounts or the decision to, I don't know, not allow hate speech or some hate speech on the platform is legitimately the reason why the stock is taking a nosedive, you're a fucking dumbass. No, dude. The reason why it's taking a nosedive, or rather not growing as much, is because there are plenty of untapped revenue opportunities that Twitter has that it hasn't fucking utilized, okay? That's it. like different methods of subscribing and different methods of generating more revenue that they are simply not using. Thank you, Healthy Gamer GG Dr. K, for the fat raid. I hope you had a good stream. We are currently talking about the Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey stepping down and right-wing reactionaries losing their minds over it and trying to, you know, fit their narrative into this conversation in perhaps the stupidest way that you can do. Anyway, as I was saying, this idea that like people are just investing or you know selling Twitter stock because Twitter has decided to like ban hate speech is so fucking stupid. Okay, it is the dumbest thing. No, dude, that has nothing to do with anything. Okay, your stock price changes or has a way more significant impact on your stock price. You know what has a way bigger impact on your stock price, dude? Like revenue generation opportunities, downsizing, okay? Mergers, acquisitions, things like that. Not fucking Twitter being like, oh, we're really sorry about hate speech. Like, shut the fuck up. Oh my God, Twitter stocks are dipping because people can't say the N-word on the platform. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Brought up the idea of free speech. Here's Jack Dorsey articulating his thoughts in a crystal clear manner.
In terms of what we're trying to drive is opportunity for every single person to be able to speak freely on the platform. And
that's absolutely not true. You don't allow hate speech, so free speech is not on your platform.
Why do we let this happen? For the longest time, like, people have just been straight up self-reporting. Like, hate speech is the only free speech we care about.
Damn 4 months. Time flies when you're depressed at the state
Okay,
of the world.
yeah, it's not free speech, bitch. Shut the fuck up. This concept of free speech absolutism is not a real one. I can't believe I'm serving 2016 like post Gamergate tea right now. Okay, folks. I'm literally, I'm serving fucking 2016 era anti SJW essayist Hasanabi content right now. Are you ready? Free speech absolutism is not a real position. There are zero platforms on this planet that actually do not regulate speech in any meaningful capacity. Every single platform, including 4chan Poll, which has a no bronies and no pedophilia rule, or even Gab and other areas where white supremacists congregate, still have free speech restrictions. The country that has the least amount of free speech restrictions is the United States of America in the Western world. Most of the other Western capitalist nations still have free speech restrictions. Their countries are perfectly fine. They're not on fire. And America still jails way more people than somewhere like Canada, where free speech is more restricted. And what I mean by that is, again, restricted as in hate speech restricted. Okay? You can't do hate speech. There's always like a little slap on the wrist or some shit like that. Now, having said that, Chomsky would like to have a word with you. Yeah, Chomsky is like one of... Yes, there's like 3 people like Chomsky. Come the fuck on, dude. And also, he is an intellectual, a philosopher, an academic. Stream died? No, it didn't. My stream is perfectly fine.
Hasan.
On my end, I'm still streaming, and everything is good. I don't know why you guys said. Anyway, as I was saying, like, Chomsky's position of free speech absolutism is not one shared by any legislators. It's not one shared by any fucking any country. America does not have Chomsky's position on free speech. Like the American government doesn't have that. There are still restrictions on free speech. Okay? In the United States of America, there are still restrictions on free speech. Just because American First Amendment rules allow hate speech to a certain degree does not change that reality. Okay? You still can't fucking yell fire in a crowded theater when there's no fire going on. You can still see the consequences of even like libel and slander and whatnot. You can still suffer the consequences of fighting words. That's another like old antiquated ass fucking U.S. law. It does not matter. Okay? And not only that, but you certainly cannot advocate for Palestinian rights and Palestinian freedoms. Anti-BDS laws have passed in some of these big red free speech states, like Texas. So, as I was saying, this idea of like free speech absolutism is not one shared by anyone.
I said,
speak freely.
Enable everyone, create the opportunity for everyone to speak on our service.
Unless it's hate speech, right?
And in part of that, the recognition that we're taking action on is that when some people encounter particular conduct, that we see them wanting to remove themselves from the platform completely, which goes against that principle of enabling everyone to speak or giving people the opportunity to speak. So rules are focused on the opportunities presented, and we have particular outcomes to make sure that those opportunities are as large as possible.
Okay, so this is a problem that you see, and I'm going to go next to the inconsistency about not banning global leaders. Do you see what he just said there? Do you see what there was a very clear question?
They have banned global leaders, though. Like, Trump is not the only global leader that has been banned. They absolutely have. They absolutely have banned plenty of global leaders. Maduro is one of them, and accounts linked to Venezuelan leadership is another. Cuban leaders, as we've talked about, leaders in the Middle East have been banned. It's fucking ridiculous to assume that like Twitter does not ban global leadership. It's so stupid.
Question by Tim Pool. And I do want to hear from you guys if you see how perverse this is. And you see this a lot. Anyone who has, if you're married, you see this a lot where sometimes, let's say you're having an argument. And
also, the reality is the only person that is a global leader that consistently violated the rules and didn't get banned for the longest time was Donald Trump. The reason why Twitter banned Donald Trump was because they were like, okay, dude, you have consistently broken the rules, and January 6th was like the fucking straw that broke the camel's back. Okay? That's it.
And then all of a sudden it becomes about your reaction to something that was said that was...
Who are you and why are you famous? Genuine question.
I was a fool.
I am Hasan Hasanabi Piker. And I am a left-wing political commentator and a Gillibrand 2020 advocate.
Hurtful, right? And then you react and you get mad and it becomes...
I gotta be back. Hold on. I'll be back in a second.
In this case, he says, we support free speech. Okay. But then some people on the platform are saying, hey, I don't like what that guy said. I'm offended. And so they develop their policy now, not around the idea of free speech, but the reaction to speech that offends people. That is not free speech. Free speech has to completely ignore, not even take into the equation, the reaction of someone, regardless of the speech, barring crime. Someone's going to come and say, what if I yell cry fire in a crowded theater? Shut up. I took Humanities 101 too. What we're talking about is actual speech, regardless of how offensive. The issue is Facebook, Twitter, Google, YouTube, but Twitter's been the worst. They react and they create algorithms that favor the reaction to offensive speech. And they claim that they do so under the guise of free speech. Am I articulating that? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's basically the lowest common denominator, though. He said we want to have the largest possible kind of group of people talking, and so we've got to remove essentially those people who say something that's offensive. And I'm like, well, you're polling the audience, Jack. Do you understand that will never stop? There will never not be a grievance against a certain person or group, and you will actually limit the audience by doing that?
And it's also not genuine, because do you know what offends me?
Dude, why are these guys like, I don't understand. I don't understand why they think they have a better take on how to run this company. Like, not that Twitter is a good fucking platform to begin with, and I'm not defending Twitter. They are dog shit. But, like, why are they sitting around a bunch of old racist douchebags being like, dude, Twitter is on the dumps because they're not allowing races. Like, this entire video can be reduced to, I think I know better, and I know that in all of my endless, knowledge, Twitter would do well if they let racist people say racist shit on the platform, which they do, by the way, but they should be letting a lot more racists do and say racist shit on the platform. They're not allowing enough racism to go on the platform, and that's why Twitter is down to the dumps. And that's what their fucking argument is, and it's really stupid. Did I say titter? I said Twitter. Why are people saying it's effing, dude? I think it depends on where you live, because I think East Coast is like effing or something, because it's fine for a lot of other people.
Me?
To one side.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is he favors one side. It's blatantly obvious.
Right. Well, you know what? Conservatives, right-wing, don't tend to be offended. Even you who's a moderate, but you believe in free speech and comedy.
Yeah.
My reaction is not to typically be offended outside of the vaccine sketch from Stephen Colbert.
Well,
that was
that's
offensively
offensive. That was
funny.
very offensive.
But
I just don't see how that's comedy.
yeah, well, and that's offensive. It offends the sensibility.
Dude, okay. I mean, these motherfuckers went from, I think I know better for Twitter's future, okay? They said, I think I know better for what Twitter should do in its future, to actually, I also know what good comedy is. Listen, motherfucker, I would rather trust your take on what Twitter should do than your take on comedy, okay? Steven Crowder is the last person to be giving their opinion on comedy. And his little fucking goblin co-host, too, yes. Ridiculous. I am...
"5 months, let's go."
Hold on. Sorry.
Abilities.
Yes.
But I will say this, it's not even just
Propaganda in its worst form.
But do you know what's offensive to a lot of people? I don't know, to doctors, biologists, saying, hey, biological women are the exact same as men. When the International Olympic Committee...
It's literally not true. Quebec and Brazil, Sao Paulo, servers are down on Twitch. Oh no, come to Brazil. I cannot come to Brazil no more. Meu, I cannot go to Brazil. Anyway, first of all, Steven Crowder is the most wrong here. Again, I just...
Grifter's gonna grift.
It is shocking how wrong this motherfucker is on a daily basis, okay? I've never watched someone who is more wrong than they're right, okay? He's never fucking right. He's wrong all the goddamn time. There is only a tiny, minuscule amount of like actual fucking doctors or biologists or whatever the fuck that believe that gender is binary, and they're wrong. The scientific consensus on this is that gender is a social construct, and even what you consider to be a biological gender, the sex, i.e. male and female, even that is not a fucking binary. It's crazy. This notion that there's so many scientists and doctors and biologists out there who believe that a man is a man and a woman's a woman, blah, 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 like all this antiquated bullshit. Like, it's just not true. It's just straight up not true.
That he now says you don't even need to change your hormones at all to compete with the women. We're just going to punt it to the individual sports, which they don't do with steroids. When they say, hey, we need to sign legislation that allows children to be put on puberty blockers. Now, people react not saying I'm offended, but hey, this is wrong, and those people get banned. Those people get throttled. Those people get removed. The Hunter Biden story, which would alter the face of an election, gets removed. And one thing I want to make very clear here, this is also a problem where we don't live in an entirely capitalistic society. It's not just a profit motive. You see with the stock, you see with the performance of Twitter.
Dude, that is so false. That is so incredibly false, dude. Twitter would be doing a lot better if they allowed transphobia to continue in the way that they do. Is like such an idiotic fucking take, dude. If that was fucking true, Gab would be destroying Twitter, okay? Even though Gab also has free speech restrictions, but clearly not fucking hate speech restrictions, okay? It's all hate speech, as a matter of fact. They would be destroying. Parler would be destroying Twitter. Gab would be destroying Twitter. Rumble would be destroying whatever the fucking competitor to Rumble is, okay? It's so stupid. You're wrong, okay? I'm sorry. You're wrong. I don't know what else to tell you. This notion that, like, Twitter is doing this because Twitter is doing this at the, even though it hurts their profits is fucking psychotic. Assuming that these vulturous, parasitic, technocratic, libertarian shitlords that, do ayahuasca therapy and then fucking come out of it thinking that they should control more parts of the fucking planet, have any sort of like interest beyond the profit motive, or any sort of like a distorted view that that they have to genuinely save the planet by like stopping hate speech is so insane. Every single thing he has said in this video thus far, in the past 9 minutes that we have watched, is just completely false. Not only is it false, but it's like hilariously and laughably false. It's so quickly disprovable. Okay? Sucks to suck, but hate speech is not marketable, okay? Platforms need to generate revenue. And guess who doesn't want fucking hate speech? Brands, corporations. So if your platform is known as the hate speech platform, like Gab is, you're not going to make money. Also, you're not going to have a lot of users because the only people that want fucking hate speech to run rampant on their platforms is people who want to use hate speech all the time, like fucking Nazis, okay? That's literally the reason. That is literally the only reason why Twitter and all these other platforms regulate hate speech, okay? That's it. And most of these platforms don't even regulate it aggressively enough.
Twitter. He is acting this way. He is behaving as an activist.
12 months, Pog.
My man, is it left-wingers and right-wingers are the same Jewish coin? What's wrong with Nazis? Oh my God, dude. You want to know what's wrong with Nazis? Too many of them are still alive, okay? And LARP as like Nazis on the internet. That's what's wrong with them. Okay? It's like, dude, your numbers have fucking whittled away. You have no clout. You have nothing, okay? It's always going to be a watered-down version of your white nativist immigration policies being represented by both parties, by the way. Two sides of the same Jewish coin. My ass, dude. Okay? You sad, pathetic loser, dude.
Vomiting face. Vomiting face.
There's a reason why so many of these fucking LARPer idiots love, living in 2016. That was like the peak. And then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked,
In spite of the business's best interests. You see that with Hollywood. You see it with Hollywood right now continually pushing an agenda, and now you see pieces of entertainment underperforming. Remember when George W. Bush was president? They had a series of redacted, rendition, Lions for Lambs. None of them performed well. It's not even a profit motive, which wouldn't make.
Okay, like I said earlier, I don't fault Steven Crowder for thinking hate speech is the best way to make money because that's literally how he makes his money. You know what I mean? So he probably thinks like that's the only way to make money. And he's like, I don't understand. Like, why don't you let hate speech happen on your platform? Like, that's literally how I make my money. Like, Mug Club. Come on, buy a mug. You'll trigger the liberals. Also, I'm going to do you know, I'm going to do blackface. That's it. That's straight up what he's doing. That's the only thing that's going on.
The destruction of our basic rights, namely First Amendment right to freedom of speech, which does apply in a digital town square if you have the benefit of the safe harbor laws.
Yeah.
It goes further than that. It's an ideological motive in spite of what should be a profit motive. It wouldn't be excusable if it was profit driven.
Once again,
Let's go.
Once again, false. If that was the case, 4chan and Gab and all these other platforms would be incredibly popular, and they're not, okay? They're just not. And the reason for why they're not is because unrestricted platforms like that, which still technically have free speech restrictions, but platforms that expressly and openly allow hate speech become stomping grounds for pedophiles and Nazis, and in most instances, pedophile Nazis, okay? That's it. That's it.
But it's not. It hurts their business, and they will do it anyway to get rid of the voices they don't like because there is a message and an agenda that is more important to Jack Dorsey than even the bottom line.
5 months.
And he's failed at both.
Absolutely. And that Ted Cruz moment there was where I was just like, all right, guys, it's put up or shut up time. This is the most clear thing. That was within, 2 weeks of when Donald Trump's stuff had been leaked and Twitter did nothing about it. New York Times Post that he was talking about. New York Post comes out with a Hunter laptop story. It goes absolutely viral, on fire.
Amo, have you ever been to 4chan? What do you mean? Yeah, of course I have. That's why I'm saying 4chan has restricted. 4chan has free speech restrictions as well. They don't allow bronies, and they don't allow pedophiles to openly be pedophilic. Yeah. But they allow hate speech. Is that a profitable fucking website? No. So shut the fuck up. Are they killing it? No.
They take it down, come back later and say, oh, we were wrong to take it down. But they wouldn't put it back up.
Right.
They would not reinstate the tweet because at the time, this is their logic, at the time we weren't wrong.
Also on Joe Rogan's podcast in 2019, Dorsey claimed that Twitter does not ban global leaders. Here you go.
Powerful figures or public figures might be in violation of our terms of service, but the tweet itself is of public interest.
Yes.
There should be a conversation around it. And that is probably the thing that people disagree with the most, and where we have a lot of internal debate. But we also have some pretty hard lines. If we had a global leader, including the President of the United States, make a violent threat against a private individual, we would take action. We always have to balance that with, like, is this something that the public has interest in? And I believe generally the answer is yes. It's not going to be in every case, but generally the answer is yes, because we should see how our leaders think and how they act.
By the way, Erdogan is still on Twitter. I believe the leaders of Hamas are.
Wait, Erdogan is still on Twitter? What the fuck? Why did he say that? My man said, we need to cancel Erdogan. Twitter, do your thing. Remember what I said? Every single person on the internet, unconditionally, no matter what their ideological predisposition is literally the same fucking person who says, Twitter, do your thing. Like, that's what he's doing. He's like, Erdogan is still on Twitter. What? What has he done? That, like, I mean, he's a fucking autocratic piece of shit, but, like, what has he done on Twitter in violation of the terms of service that, like, he needed to be banned or something?
Why all you chatters yelling, go take a nap and get a Capri Sun?
What a random thing to fucking, to get mad at.
As well, and then he banned Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, a year later, even though Donald Trump tweeted a video requesting the January 6th protesters to be peaceful.
Yep.
Just to be clear. He was speaking live, said make sure.
He's such a bitch. Dude, they're such bitches, dude. I love that. I love how big of a bitch you have to be like, Twitter is still... Twitter is still banning our favorites, our faves, our problematic faves are banned off Twitter. And I hate it. I hate it. Why have you not unbanned Donald Trump, but Erdogan is still on there? It's
Why
like,
all y'all
okay, dude,
yelling
he
chat,
violated.
go take a
Dude,
nap and get a
Donald
Capri
Trump
Sun.
literally said he was going to commit terrorism, okay? By the American definitions of terrorism, he straight up said, we will attack your cultural landmarks, okay? That's it. He should have been banned right there. If there was any sort of
Trump is
fucking
banned from
legit, like, TOS being applied there, he should have been banned there. When he said, we will destroy your cultural landmarks. Okay? And he incited the insurrection at the Capitol and then kept doing it. And only at the end of the day,
in our universe, you get
towards
off
the end
bus.
of the day,
In the car's
he
universe,
basically
you
came
get
out
the
and
bus
said,
off.
at the top of the hour, there's a 60-second ad break. That's right. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You could do that for $5, believe me. Jeff Bezos fell off, folks. Ever since he broke up with his wife, he's fallen off. But guess what? If you have an Amazon Prime, you can still connect it to your Twitch Prime, believe me. That's a seamless transition. Seamless. Damn, did he say that, Law? What a piece of shit. Gotta look that up. Okay. He said, you can also wait for a gifted, but sometimes it doesn't come. There's people in here, believe me, they've been around for a year and they haven't gotten a single gifted sub. All right. It's just random. It's very random. It's random. Thank you, Tommy Mana, for the 5 gifted subs. 5 people will no longer see the ads. Thank you, Kazakh Pleeth Keek, for the 5 gifted subs as well. That's right. No one does the ad segues like I do. Twitch Prime is free, though, folks. And so are the regular $5 subscription will help you no longer see the ads. Here's the 1-minute ad break now.
Your voice patriotically, peacefully heard, and then released a
Thank
video
you, Benji,
where it was reiterating
2X
being
you
peaceful. This is something just like when people say
for
he
the
claimed
5
to
gifted.
find people on both sides referring to Nazis. No.
Nope.
Watch that clip where he said, I'm not referring to the neo-Nazis who should be condemned totally, okay? Not them, horrible people, condemned. I'm saying you had both people on both sides of the statue issue
Right.
who were very fine people. They misrepresented it, and they used it
Lied.
to ban. They lied. To use, I was being a little...
Lied. No. Lied.
To remove the president of the United States. And guess what? The stock value of Twitter took a $5 billion nosedive after they
It's
banned Donald Trump.
stunning, though. I mean,
How, first of all, let's be real. That is the one instance where I agree. Banning Donald Trump, who single-handedly almost, literally reignited Twitter, was definitely a bad business decision. That was absolutely a bad business decision. Now, since then, the stock prices, of course, recovered instantaneously and also has, gotten way fucking, the stock price has gone up. I don't know by what percentage, but, of course it has. It's only taken a year for Twitch to give me an accurately targeted ad. The stock has not recovered at all. Okay. Twitter stock. Market summary for Twitter Inc. How do I see it? Where was it? Where did he get banned?
3 months until the brain rot starts.
Where did he get banned? Chat. Where did Donald Trump got banned? January 8th, right? What happened again? Hold on. Let's get to January.
Thanks for helping me to be a better informed
Wait.
and better overall person for the last
Wait, are you
15
telling me
months.
that there was a big dip there? Oh, in 2020. Oh, sorry, in 2021. January 8th, 2021. Sorry. Oh, it wasn't 2020. I'm such an idiot. You're right. What the fuck is wrong with me? Where is it? Where is it? Here's the big dip. January 8th, 2021. 51 US dollars.
Surprised I didn't get kidnapped or something.
Is it effing again? God damn it. Which, God damn it. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Are you telling me it went from $51 to... Wow, it seems like it
14
recovered and
months later.
passed in precisely 1 month. Wait, how did that happen? Wait, why did that happen? Wait, that's so weird, dude. That's so fucking strange, dude. Wait, hold on. That makes no sense. That makes no sense, but I thought Donald Trump, if I was only watching Steven Crowder's video, I would think that Twitter has been in a fucking state of disarray since Donald Trump was banned. That's weird. That's really weird. How could that be? How could that be? Is this sarcasm? No, it's not. I mean, it is sarcasm. I'm making fun of fucking idiots like Steven Crowder or those who listen to Steven Crowder who don't see a fucking full picture and think that, like, you know, Twitter fucking destroyed itself because Donald Trump left. Look at the Twitter stock price now. Yeah, obviously right now the Twitter stock price is going to fucking dip because Jack Dorsey, because their CEO just resigned. Are you guys fucking stupid? What do you think? This is an aftershock of Donald Trump being banned off Twitter? It took up until November to fucking dip? Are you that stupid? Also on Friday, the stock market didn't crash, but dipped aggressively as a consequence of the new variant Omicron coming out and being revealed to be way more transmissive than prior fucking variants of COVID. So that's why the stock market fucking dipped. I don't know if you know this, but like Japan halted all travel into the country, for example. That, of course, is going to create a lot of chaos in the stock market. My portfolio has been slaughtered? Yeah.
Thank you for all the streams, Hasan. Hi, Professor S, if you're watching.
What you're supposed to look at is here, okay? What you're supposed to look at is like, what happened after Donald Trump was banned off Twitter? Oh, wow, took a big dip there, huh? Oh, what the fuck? Took literally less than a month to recover,
for example.
And it fucking nearly doubled. That's crazy. It's fucking crazy, dude. Oh my God. Anyway.
How do you get...
Like, I despise the stock market. I think it's fucking gambling. I think it sucks. It's bullshit. Whatever. But my God, dude. Even I know more than these fucking dumbasses. It's wild.
Past all his charisma.
So
that
much
silver-tongued devil.
Yeah, he's just...
Gosh.
It's hard to not agree with when he's just staring down like a complete and utter autistic.
With birds in his beard and nipple barbells in the middle of his tongue.
Just
No, not me.
So earlier today it was announced that he was expected to resign. He posted, "I resigned from Twitter," and his successor is a guy named Parag Agarwal.
Oh,
so
cool.
we found a good tweet from him.
You know what's surprising? He didn't say any racist shit. We were wrong. I mean, we still got like 10 seconds remaining, but they never got to Parag.
If they're not going to make a distinction between Muslims and extremists, then why should I distinguish between white people and racists?
Oh, well,
Good
you
one.
new leader of Twitter. How about that?
Okay. To be fair, I thought they were going to talk about Parag more, and they never talked about him, so I don't know. I think that's probably the reason why there was not a lot of racist agitprop in there. But hey, there's always time, folks. There's always